Welcome to She's Always On. We're on episode 9, and this week we have a special guest, Emily Engstler. She is with the Washington Mystics, and she was also my teammate at Louisville. So we had a special season together before her introduction to the WNBA. But we'll start way back when you were young. You're from New York. What is the New York influence on your game?
I would say that the biggest New York influence is maybe the grit that I bring along to my game, or slash the passion. I would say that like you would understand more at Louisville. It came out a little more, even if it was just like arguing with the ref. I think we have that like gritty.
Guys, Emily was crazy. Every
No way.
game, every game the refs were like, I mean, you actually start to make friends with them.
At the end, because after that North Carolina game, when we lost and I got a ticket and I fouled out, Wall sat me down and he was like, all right, we can't get a tech every 3 games.
Then were you always like that? Or that came out more?
A little bit. I would say I grew up a lot, like going into Syracuse, like I grew up a lot and I got a lot better. I'll say at Louisville, I just felt really comfortable. I think it was honestly, it's out to my teammates because I just felt so comfortable like that. Everyone had my back, that I could kind of, be tough and all that. And I knew we would show it with the win, or like I always had them having my back. So I think it came more out at Louisville, that passion. Right. But I've calmed down. Being in the pros, you get a little humbled and you can't really do all that. So
speaking of getting humbled, did you have a humbling moment that you remember? That you're like, damn.
Nothing like crazy, I will say, but I don't know. I just think my entire rookie year was a humbling moment in general. Like with Indy, we kind of had a struggle year. We didn't win a lot of games, and I got to play against the best of the best. And I don't know, just seeing them all kind of do their thing, right? While I'm guarding them, as a 4, I'm guarding the 4 position is such a talented position in this league. So there was many humbling moments.
Yeah. So after your rookie season, you got waived, and that was a big deal because obviously you were the 4th pick in the draft. But it just is a testament to like how hard the WNBA is and how cutthroat it is. What was that like on like your mental after that?
Yeah, getting waived is tough. I mean, you kind of understand it. At the same time, you're like, okay, depending on where you fell, like what team you fell on, who's already there, you're kind of just like, okay, this is the top 144 players, and I would say the world, the country, whatever. But I would say the world. So you're kind of just thinking to yourself, okay, I've gotten this far, things happen. But I'll say like for the first month, when I went to Washington Mystics training camp and didn't make that roster, that first month at home, I was struggling a little bit. You ask a lot of whys. What could I have done better? What could I have done more? What could I have focused more on, etc. And then you kind of realize, like, technically, it's a little bit out of your control, and the best thing you could do is put your head down and grind and get better, and hopefully you get another chance. And I would say I got that next chance with Minnesota, and I appreciated them a lot. That hardship, like the last season, was a long hardship, and it allowed for me to play again and play while other coaches watched. And I think it's ultimately what led me to making this roster this season. So I really appreciated coaching.
Yeah, nothing beats playing experience. Like those extra games that you pick up, they're just so beneficial. I would say, like when I picked up with the Sparks that last couple weeks of season, like nothing beats just actually playing in games.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, experience is everything in this league. At the end of the day, I mean, you can have someone who's like a 50-year pro, but not necessarily a WNBA 50-year, and you can have a rookie come in and a second year come in and just do better because of the experience of playing the year before. So experience means a lot in the league.
I think it's the same as like you look at workouts. When people do these workouts, they could be so skilled, and then they go in the game, and it's like, where's it translate? Or some people it just doesn't translate at all. So it's like, it is so true that type of game experience you can't really replicate unless you are out there playing.
Completely agree. I mean, I think he understands this as well. Like I can have 2 months of the best workouts of my entire life, 100% from the 3, 95% from the field, and then you go into your first game and like, I haven't made one shot, or you just feel a step slow laterally defensively. Like the beginning of the season, I really didn't like my defensive game, and that's something I pride myself on a bit. I just felt
Yeah.
a little slow. I hadn't played too much last season, so at the end of the day, I think I just needed game experience, and whether that's just understanding coverages slash getting yourself your feet wet. Yeah, you can. I work out all the time, but if I don't necessarily get to play, like it doesn't always help.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like there's certain workouts or drills that do benefit for you? Like they do translate pretty well?
Yeah, it's funny. So Nafisa Collier, I think, people who know their niche, like something that they're
Mhm.
really good at. So for feet, I think one of the things she practices, I got to work out with her. I played with her in Minnesota, got to work out with her in New York. And the turnaround fade, right? Like it's unstoppable. She's 6'1", she's my height. She makes it on every five in the league. She's
Yeah.
unstoppable. She's one of my favorite fours. And after I was like, she was like, and I'm like, I was trying to do it. And I was struggling with just the footwork. And she was like, I've been doing this since UConn. Like there's
Yeah.
years and years where I just come in and do the same move over and over again. And I think
Right.
that's same thing, Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray, I'm always like, how do you knock down that triple fadeaway pull up so flawlessly? And she's like, I do it all the time. Like I think you can't go into a workout as a pro and try to do a little bit of everything anymore. You need to grab something
Yeah.
you want to be good at and
Right.
just drill it, drill it,
And
drill it.
perfect it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is so true. Because it's
That's a big
like these days, or you see a lot of kids working out and they do 10,000 between the legs, behind the back, and all this stuff. And it's like, like, where are you using all that? You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
I
in the
know it's something.
off
Sorry.
season, you coached some girls, right?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Grand K. That was a good
Yeah.
time.
How did you like that?
It was cool. It was dope to coach one at a school that I went to for a bit, but also all the coaches are close. I would say I stayed close with, I'm friends with, and so it was good to be around family while I was rehabbing. But
Mhm.
I think that like that young group I was doing JV, that 15, 14, 15-year-old group, that needs that guidance, I think it was really, really good for both of us. So like for them, I think you have a woman pro, something you want to be, right? Sitting right
Yeah.
here in front of you. You can ask as many questions as you want. I'm not saying I knew everything. It was my first time coaching, but I did my best. And I'm my assistant coach and someone I played AAU with who was also a woman coach. And we did our best, but like we could answer all their questions because we've gotten to that next level. And then for me, it was like, I think I needed family to be around in that sense, like, but also basketball while I was recovering from an injury for like the whole off season. And it also helped my X's and O's game a lot. Like, I mean, I also think you would understand this. Like, I'm not someone who necessarily like knows how to draw up a play right off the bat. Like, it just wasn't I go out there and he saw what to do and I'm gonna
And you're
follow.
you were instinct person for
Yeah, it's an
sure.
instinct thing. Like there
Mhm.
was a lot of. I'm not saying I'm not a smart basketball player, but there's a lot of people who might know more about the exercise than me. Anytime you being one of them, I probably asked you 80 questions a game, but I got to learn more from that. So I think we
Yeah.
both grew, and the team ended up winning everything. The JV and varsity won all the championships that they played in.
Wow.
So it was a great year for us. But I really enjoyed the experience.
Do you think that
Is
coaching could be something you do after?
Not right now. I will say, like, at the end of the day, high school is one thing. I don't know how anyone of you feel about this, but like the college level with NIL and all that, I think it's become a lot, slash, like, someone like me who personally isn't a big social media person, like, and all that with the money, I don't know, just not as focused on basketball, in my opinion. And it just seems a lot more stressful. I just think we don't give assistant coaches and head coaches in college enough credit. Like, it looks really stressful. It takes a lot of your time and sacrifice. So, like, I just think at this age, I'm in no form ready for that.
there's absolutely no off day, I feel like I assistant coached my national team in Kosovo in Europe, so I was like, all right, I got my fix for the month. After that I was like, all right, I'm ready to come back to my real life, real job, because this is just there's just so much that goes into it's not just on the court, like it's outside the
Yeah.
court, making sure they're all good. And I'm like, man, I became a therapist, assistant coach. I was like, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Speaking
I believe it.
Yeah, speaking of college, because you transferred, which by the way, you definitely don't remember this, but when I played at Fordham, we played you guys. So when you were at Syracuse, our first round of NCAA tournament, we got smacked, but all good, all love here now. But
Our first year was it 2018?
yes,
Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, I didn't play too
But
much, so I don't know remember exact
you,
game, but
right,
I
me neither.
I
So it's
remember
all
playing
good.
more.
Like, but with so much transferring happening now, in this day and age, obviously you went through the process. Is this something you recommend, and are you happy that you did that?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of pros and cons to it, like how people view it. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm not here to judge anyone. You can transfer 4 times and you might have had a real reason every time you transfer. So I think like circumstances matter. That like I don't know the person. I'm not gonna if you transfer 4 times, maybe you weren't the problem for real. But I will say like transferring was not something I wanted to necessarily do. Like I was comfortable at Syracuse. I loved
Yeah.
the campus, I loved the education, I loved my teammates. It was just something I needed to do for the next step in my career. And I'm very grateful that I did. Louisville was amazing. I have friends to this day. And Final Four, like it was, I got better. I got drafted. Like everything about it was great. But like if I didn't have to, if I didn't think it was going to bring me, I wouldn't have. Because I do like building that trust, building that familiarity with the team. I think that's something that's important. But there becomes a point where it's stunting your growth, or you're not happy to a point where something's wrong, and whether it's with coaches, teammates, etc. Yes, I think transferring is a very understandable thing to do. But you just have to understand that like the grass might not always be green. I say it all the time. Even
Mhm.
with people going to Louisville, I'm like, look, this was my experience. You transfer too, Key. Like this
Yeah.
was my experience. Like I loved walls. I like this. I like this. You might not, but here's what I
Yeah.
thought was great.
And there was a ton of girls that like transferred into Louisville that hated it. You know,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
definitely, yeah, it's definitely a personal experience.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I just get that conversation so much, and it's like
Mhm.
I just think you should take everything I say with a little bit of like a grain of salt. Like I'm
Yeah.
not the end of all because my transfer went well. It might not go well for you, and honestly, I wouldn't have done it. I would really not want to do it more than once if you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because then it's tough to get to know your teammates. But I understand that it happens.
No,
Yeah.
it is
It's
tough.
very coaches. What's the biggest like thing you took away from your time at Louisville?
Honestly, like non-basketball related, and I don't know exactly how everyone feels, but like I know we had a bit of our ups and downs, but like I didn't as the team relationships that I made, I actually like have never found again in that
Yeah.
like I loved again. I was very close to my Syracuse teammates, but like on the court and off the court, I just think as a collective I was
Yeah.
very grateful for how we were. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, even I think like most of us were close, but even if like we weren't the closest in the world, like we just had a lot of respect for each other. And I think
Yeah,
that
we
went a
did.
long way, and it's exactly why we got as far as we did. It's really hard to find. It's really hard to find. Especially
Yeah.
when you go pro, it's not that you don't have the respect for each other. You do. It's just you have grown women with wives, husbands, babies. Like you don't have all the time to get to know everyone the same way you had in
Yeah.
college. So I miss it a lot, but it's
Me too.
definitely my best takeaway.
Yeah. I tell people all the time because Coach B always tells people about our team and how we were the worst practice team. But but we would kill people on the court because we would run through through a wall
Oh
for each
yeah.
other. It didn't matter, if we were beefing that day, if people were no, on the court, we would literally do anything for each other
Yeah,
to get a win, and I do
for
miss that.
sure. It's
That was
funny
fun.
you say that because I'm personally not the best like I think I'll play way better in a game than like my practice would show for. Sadly, I wish it wasn't like that. I don't I wasn't saying it out loud because I know it's not like the best thing to say. Yeah. But it's funny
Yeah.
because one of my coaches, she challenged me in Washington. She's kind of like, "You're a better game player, huh?" Like basically, and I
Yeah, you
completely agree
always
with her. I was like, man, I don't know what it is. So that might have been partially my fault at Louisville. Or, or like I'm timid, a little timid. Like in practice, I don't always like to, I don't know,
Hit
step
knock out
on
your
Yeah, because
toes.
our
trophy.
coaches, right,
Yeah.
our coaches expected us to do a box out drill and beat each other up.
Yes, exactly.
I
I'm like,
remember
bro.
our team came to a point where we had to be self-accountable and tell each other to run. I'm like, I'm not telling my teammate because you missed the box out to start running. Like, I'm absolutely not doing that. Like, imagine you're just like, Kiana, you missed the box out, start running. Like, I'd be like, what? What is you?
Yeah. I
It
mean,
was
we had a
different.
couple moments where we'd be on the line, and like, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It happens all the time. To like, not everyone finishes the sprint, and we have to do it again and again and
We're
again. And
like, make it,
back,
please.
and
Or
we'll
you
run
start
it with you.
pushing
You know,
people.
like, Yeah, we were good about it, Phil. I don't think we ever had much of it, and if we did, like, we were going to be right next to them, running it with them as on their pace, trying to get
Yeah.
them across the line. That's where I think made us a good team.
You also brought up another good
What year?
point, of just building chemistry. Obviously, in college, we're all together, live together, eat, sleep, breathe, play basketball. How do you build that chemistry in the WNBA? Like you said, when people have their own job, like things to do, families, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does start in practice. I can't lie, slash, like, while you're in the gym, around the gym, games, all that kind of stuff, on the
Yeah.
road mainly, because we're on the road way longer than we were in college. Like, for example, just a quick, like, you're on the road, hey, want to get lunch? Hey, after this game, maybe we can all go here. Which, it doesn't happen all the time, but the small times that it does, like, take advantage of it, because it's your way to get to know your teammates. Slash, like, you spend, I know in college we spend a lot of time in the court together, but that's, like, all the time we get in the league with our teammates. So, when you're at practice, just getting, like, before practice, after practice, asking questions, asking people about their families, their siblings, and
Yeah.
just getting to know each other. It's the best way to do it, because you don't know if you'll go out Saturday or have dinner this day. Like you don't know. You're not gonna
Looking
like
for
go to each other's apartment like in college. So
Yeah.
just simple small things like that. It helps. It goes a long way.
Yeah. Have you gotten close with anyone on the Washington team?
I think we're a pretty cool bunch. Like I think I have a good individual relationship with each person. I
That's
got
good.
asked a question the other day, and I really appreciate everyone on the team. But I think like it's one thing I'm good at. It's I'm gonna have a decent individual relationship with everyone. I
Yeah.
think it's important. Like,
Of
but
course.
yeah,
The biggest adjustment for you going from college to playing in the league.
yeah. A big one of the bigger adjustments I would say is when you first get to the league, the speed of the game is a lot different. I don't exactly know how to explain why, but like I don't know if it's just because the girls are in general faster, stronger, etc. But like the
Right.
game just goes. My rookie year, and Indy, I would play, and I wasn't not in shape though. That's what was weird. Like
Yeah.
I would play 3 minutes. I'll never forget. I took out the match once, and just laid out like arms out like yeah. And his Mr. was like, Miss was like, "Am, are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I cannot breathe. I don't know why." Like holy, I was dying. I was like, "This is ridiculous." But it was majority of the season that I felt that way. So I was like, "Okay, maybe I just need to get used to the league." If you're
Yeah.
gonna push through, you try not to let people notice you're kind of dying. And then ever
Yeah.
since, like now, I deal with it. I'm way better. So it just takes game experience, I guess. But
Yeah. That's good.
Is the
Have you
conditioning
like
different in practice? Sorry, Key.
I mean, we don't really condition in the pro. Like you do, but not. We don't run as much as we did in college. We don't get
I was
punished,
curious
for
about
example.
that. You guys run
Yeah,
or like get on the line, start running,
you're
you
also
know?
playing you're also playing so often. Like
exactly. You're also
you have
grown women who don't make the same like goofy attitude mistakes that you do in college. What makes you run those sprints.
right.
So like,
That's
yeah, you're not gonna be doing sprints soon. But I will say, like, if you don't play or you're under a certain amount of time, there are teams that will have you do extra conditioning. It's necessary because
right.
Yeah.
when you do randomly play more minutes, you don't want to be off it the whole
Yeah.
time.
So like how do you like your coach? Like what do you value?
Yeah, coach, I love Coach E. I think the best thing about Coach E is so for example, in practice that I just think he is a humble guy. Like he's gonna rebound for you, he'll train you, he'll be your head coach, he'll just be there for you to talk to. Like he'll do every
And
level
that's
as a
unheard
head
of.
coach. And that's what I'm
Right.
saying. I like really respect it about him. I say it all the time actually. He's already just kind of a chill, cool guy. Like he doesn't necessarily always yell. He knows like he's good at explaining things to us calmly. Like we can ask there's no anxiety around like going up to him and asking him things. It's not like, ooh, I don't want to ask Coach E. He's
Yeah.
cool. Like he's
Yeah.
cool. He treats us with respect. He allows our opinions to be present when figuring out offenses, defenses, all etc. All that stuff. But the biggest thing to me is what I said in the beginning. Like he's mad cool. He'll be rebounding for me, and in my head I'm like, wow, like you're a head coach, and I
Yeah.
just think that is a
Right.
really cool thing of you to do.
And that's like a good environment to be in as a young player too, because
Yeah,
like there's so much to worry about. You don't want to have to worry about, dang, does my coach Like,
Yeah.
can I go up to him and ask
Yeah,
like these questions or like,
exactly. I've never felt that way ever while I've been here. I mean, even coach, Coach T or GM, like, I
mhm,
mean, I think we obviously he's not the head coach, so I'm not around as much. But like, I think if I had a question for him too as well, like, I would feel comfortable asking him. Um, I think they're a group that has a lot of confidence in their players. So like that's another thing I'm very grateful for. Like at the end of the day, whether I play 2 minutes or 20, I've never been yelled at for taking an open shot. I've never been yelled at for, like doing the things that I do well, even if it didn't work that day. So I
yeah,
really appreciate that because I want my confidence up, and it's good to know that they have that confidence in me as well. But yeah, also I like when I think this is cool, but this is actually a positive on our whole staff. Like they play with us a lot. Like they'll get in and guard us and play. He clearly loves it. I mean, you have Coach Latoya who played for
true.
years, so she obviously loves basketball and like is great at basketball, so she'll jump in. But even all of them, all of our coaches will jump in and they'll guard, they'll play offense. But like, I just think it's cool. Like they really love basketball so much, like they're willing to hop in whenever. So I think that's the
It's
What
fire.
is the best advice you've ever received?
got deep real quick. Let me think about that first.
Yeah, we take notes now.
Um, I would say the best advice I received is along these lines, but it's mainly just I think I'm someone who I've made plenty of mistakes in my life in general, especially around the game of basketball, and I always sit in my regrets. Like I sit in my past a lot. So actually, Coach DeLuca, his name's Joe. He's the coach at Christ the King. He's a brother to me. Like we're very close. He said that he would tell this to me. I think we had similar stories, and he would just tell me like, at the end of the day, like your mistakes don't define you. It's how you react to those mistakes, and I think it's one of the best advice anyone can have. Sitting in your mistakes, sitting in your regrets, and just always looking into the past. Like it does nothing good for your present or your future. I mean, you made them and it happens, and I think the best thing you can do is just have a positive reaction to them, and your character stands on how you react to them. So I appreciate that advice, and I try to do it whenever I can.
Yeah, that's
That's some good stuff right there.
Assistant.
okay.
From poetry stuff, poetry
Yeah,
lovers.
I
Yeah,
see you getting deep.
Em is a
You
deep girl.
started it.
And you're deep. You be reading and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do read too. Like we act like reading is it's true. I'm a
No,
big
but
girl.
she like reads like poetry. She's
Yeah,
like,
Oh,
like
no.
romance.
Oh,
Like,
okay. No, one thing I
like,
love is I love emotional intelligence. I feel like is so underrated. And I feel like it's so important in basketball. Just like being able to bounce back from stuff. And I feel like when kids don't go through adversity and then they get to college and then they start going to university, a lot of them don't know how to deal with it. And it's like
yeah.
I don't know. I always say like I've heard this saying. It's like you can either go through life and have nothing bad happen to you, or would you choose your life of the obstacles you went through? And the guy says I would choose my life with the obstacles because it's made me who I am. So now I appreciate that though.
Yeah, that's a good one too, though. I agree with that completely. Who wants to go to
I'm just
like
like I'm gonna go write it down in
perfect?
my poetry book.
Yeah, imperfection is exactly what I think develops you as a person. Like you have
Yeah.
to make mistakes. There's no way for any of us to be perfect, and learning from them is the best way we can live
Yeah.
our life.
now we're giving the TikTok girlies some more info on their favorite um WNBA player.
Um,
How do you feel about all that stuff?
Yo, give me some
um,
tips. Well, how
I'm
does this work?
I'm
I've got
very
followers on TikTok.
For context, guys, Emily is beloved on TikTok by a lot of WNBA fans, and they make a lot of edits of her and think she's quite attractive. So this is what we're talking about. But how do you feel about those?
I'm very appreciative of any fans, any
Yeah,
support, etc. I really am, especially the people who like really know me as basketball player, who've watched me from when I was young.
yeah,
I'm very appreciative. I'll always be appreciative of any kind of fan. I will say it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. I think you understand that since you know me well. Like I'm not a social media person. I
yeah,
don't need all that attention. Like I think it's a little tough because it's like a deep dive into your life. I feel like I have a detective on me a lot when I'm posting normal stuff, and I'm not. This is just me feeling being honest. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not the biggest fan of that all the time. I can't lie to
yeah,
you. But I'm appreciative of people who's for me, and I always will be, and that can be anyone. But like, I don't need that. I
yeah.
don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how I've always been.
I mean, it just must be weird to be like, okay, you've went your whole life being able to just play basketball. And like now
Right.
you have like lens on you, like, oh, who's she dating? Who does she hang out with? Who's her friends? Like, it's
Exactly.
just
It's a
weird.
little weird. Like, you know what? I'll give her an example. I'll touch on one thing because it's funny. But like Haley, like when it first started coming out, it's
Oh, I
like, bro, they're
know.
together. She don't stop playing with me, Haley, right now. Like, come on, bro. What? Like, if they knew anything about us or our friendship, they would
Yeah,
know that's the craziest statement ever. Like, one of
yeah.
my fucking friends, slash, like, that's just a weird, like, for me, it came out, I was like, that's a weird thing to see slash you. Like, I'll send
Yeah.
it to
Oh,
her
she
too,
was
and
your
we'll
close
laugh.
friend.
Yeah, yeah, she's a close friend. But
And
it's like,
people
And like
like,
if you know if you know how they are together and like
yeah,
them, it's just really funny to be like, these people are just insane.
exactly. It's funny. I say funny, and I think people take that as like I'm laughing at them. No, but like when I'm watching you deep dive into my life and like kind of, if I'm being honest, make assumptions of it. Like it's a
Yeah,
little funny. Like you don't actually know how we are, so from the outside, it's a little funny. But
yeah.
it's appreciated. I appreciate everyone who thinks I'm attractive or a great basketball player. Like thank you. I am. It is appreciated and a lot of love. But I'm not a very like they're not gonna. I'm not gonna post every week because of it, or like I'm gonna keep doing how I was on my social media.
Yeah.
Also, the crazy thing too about Instagram, TikTok, and all these things, I feel like people think they know you. Like, and it's like, no, you're
Exactly.
just seeing like 2% of my life and I'm putting what I want to put out there. Like you're not seeing who I really am. And it's kind of crazy like that people I don't know, I always think about that. Or if like random people
Yeah.
come up to you, they act like they probably know you. Like you've probably had that happen. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like
I
here
mean, honestly, most people who approach me, super respectful fans. Like I always like having conversations with them. I think the other thing that it's like, how much do you want to post with the people in your life? So whether that's a significant other or a mother or a sister,
yeah.
like if they don't want to get analyzed very deeply, I I'll phrase this. Like I'll post I'm playing Xbox, so I'll post it on like an app like this is what I'm doing tonight. But my gamer tag's on it. So now I have 80 ads and I'm like, oh crap. Like so I delete it. Because and it's not that I don't want them to think I'm deleting it because like I'm mad. But it's like I don't need my personal
Yeah.
stuff to be
Yeah.
overtaken or like just because I feel that I'm a semi-private person or
Yeah.
the people in my life semi are private. So I just hope they don't take offense to like what I'm saying or how I live my life because not everybody, which is not a problem, wants to be all over social media.
Right.
So, but it's just a preference, and I think a lot of people who make a living off that love to do what they do, and that's great. Like some people are made for that. I'm count my little awkward tendencies, and you know, Key, like, you know how we are. I'm not gonna dance for the camera, or I'm not gonna, but it's fun. I appreciate them. It's fun. It's a good time.
What is the most important thing to you now at this age, right? I feel like when you're young, certain things are important to you. You go to college and then you grow up, or now we're so-called grown, even though I don't feel like I'm grown. But what is something that you feel like is more important to you now that wasn't before?
Oh, first and foremost, my body. How I treat my body. Big one. I would say, and sadly, it took the past year, but like this past year in general, a
Yeah.
couple injuries, kind of made me understand that like I might only be 24, but I'm not 18 anymore, and like I can't not stretch before I play. I can't not stretch after I play. I can't not ice tub. I can't get away without doing recovery. I can't put crappy things in my body and expect it to fuel it the way I want it to. It just doesn't work that way. So taking care of my body as a whole, that's a big one for me. And I actually was just talking about it to a bunch of like younger kids, and my message isn't necessarily like if you're 10 to eat salads all day. Like when you're a kid, you're young, like you're okay. But when you hit a certain point in your career, maybe
Right.
middle of college, beginning of college, pro, that's when you really need to understand what you put in it. Yeah, love your body because it'll break down really fast.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Well, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask, how is the flying situation? Are we better with this?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty dope. It's
Wait,
pretty cool. I
so you don't
mean,
fly?
Well, because so when we would fly at Louisville, Emily would
Oh yeah.
she was a little shaky about the
Oh,
turbulence.
that question. I took
Yeah.
that tour as a W with the flight
Oh,
turbulence.
no.
Oh my God, please, man. That was tough. And people still don't believe me. Like, I was ready to take anxiety medication for these flights. Like,
Yeah.
it was horrible. And Key was my meditation person. I was because
I was
he's
like,
always mad chill.
I was on the plane like, just breathe. Like we're gonna be right. We're not gonna
Okay.
die.
In my defense, I don't know if it's because it was a bigger plane or I think it might have been where we were flying to. We were always about to die. Tell me I'm wrong. We were always about to
That's
die for some
crazy.
reason.
We had a lot of turbulence. I'm not gonna lie, we did.
Oh my God. I don't know how you were so cool and collected. Like, Key is the definition of content with her life and like her choices in life because she was just like, I'm good. Like, I want to kill it, Key. I'm about to cry. I cried a couple times for sure.
I'm like, and we're gonna land. It's okay.
It was so scary. There was one flight.
And
It
you
was
hear
coming
the
from Miami. That's where it started. It was just horrible turbulence. Like, I really thought it was over a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. I was saying prayers.
You're
I
like,
was
let me
saying
try and
goodbye.
send my family a text. Tell my best friends I love them.
Yeah, it got a lot better though. So I think it started with the fact that we flew commercial for the first 2 years, and
Yeah.
so I don't know why, but I never dealt with turbulence. It was always just an easier flight, and then now even when we fly our private flights, like maybe because of those 2 years of it being chill, like I'm way chill. I'm way
Good.
chiller. I haven't had a flight that's like been crazy turbulence since though. But
Yeah.
that was a horrible time. I was always I told Walls, I was like, Walls, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'm getting on a plane anymore with you guys. Like,
You're gonna have to take the road trip and meet us.
yeah, you're gonna have to drive me in the truck, Walls, because I'm not taking a flight.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
You see them in a 10-hour car ride, like just trying to get to the game, and people are like,
Yo, because it's such a main part of our careers. Like, it's literally a big part of our work. So yeah, I don't know what I would have done, but I am way better. Thanks.
Well, it was nice chatting with you, Em. Like, I love you, and I'm just happy to see you doing well and healthy more than anything.
Thank
And
you.
take this break that you guys got, enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate your story.
She's
Thank
like,
you so
I'm
much.
going to.
No, thanks for having
You're
me on. I appreciate you guys.